ATI through nursing school. And ATI, some people may know what it is, some people may have heard what it is, some people may not know what it is at all. So I don't know the abbreviation. I may post it somewhere in this video or just post it in the description box. But it's basically a site where you could take practice tests on it. It has a whole bunch of NCLEX style nursing questions on it. And I do this because ATI is a blessing and a curse. So it's a blessing and a curse because you have to take tests and pass them. And it's a blessing because the grade can help you. But it's also a curse because the grade can basically fail you or not help you. And the way their conversions are set up is definitely different than the regular grades that you get on regular nursing exams. So if you have like a proctor test coming up, you have to take test A, test B, and then the actual proctored meaningful test. So just because this last test is the only one that's meaningful, pay attention to test A and test B, because usually I feel as if it's always a few questions from A and B that will be in the proctor test, the one that actually matters and helps you with your overall grade in the class. Also, all the questions, it also is some questions that you see through the regular individual practice exams on ATI that may also help you with the proctor test on ATI. And when I say proctored, I mean that you take the test at a certain time whenever the teacher tells you, go in the lab, and y'all line up and sit at the computers, and you have to take the test in front of the teacher to make sure that you're not cheating or anything. But yeah, the scoring. So, an example. So, test 1 for med surg. So, the test is going to be over med surg material that is in the ATI book. So you take test A and you get like a 60%. Depending on what the scoring of the ATI exam is posted online, depends on what grade you get. So with theirs, if you get between like a 50 and a 58 or something, that may indicate a level 1. Meaning you'll get a 70% as long as you did everything else you were supposed to do. You did all the templates you had to do. You did all of the other exams. You did all of the focus review. So now, with you getting that grade and continuing to do all the templates, you will get a 70%. So that 70% will be added to your overall grade. Now, at the beginning of nursing school, I can't remember if it's added automatically or if it's just added at the end once you get a 77%. So then if you get like a 59% or 58.6% to a 66, and sometimes it's higher, then that can indicate a level 2, which means a 90%. And again, if you do the focus review, you do the templates, you do all the tests and everything, then that's a 90% test grade that's added to your overall nursing grade for that class. So as you can see, it can either help you or it can hurt you. And I happen to get a level 2 on all of mine and level 3 at the end of my nursing school years. So it definitely helped me. And sometimes it even dragged me out of the hole that I was in. So I was very grateful for ATI. And then later in the program, your last semester, you will use ATI Live Review, HERST, and HESI. Okay, HESI we took, well, my class took our first year. I can't remember if it was first semester or second semester, but I know after that year, they did not do it for the next class. I'm also not for sure if they didn't, but I'm pretty sure that they did not, because I think it's like every other year the class uses it. So HESI, I can't really tell you too much about it. I didn't like HESI, but that was also, again, something that either helped you or hurt you. That was something for some people why they didn't pass to the next semester after we took HESI, because it was really hard. I think it was a website that I had found online with some practice questions for HESI, to kind of see how they ask their questions, and the type of information that I needed to study. And again, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, and then ACI Live Review, we did that our last semester. It was kind of a way for us to get prepared for NCLEX. And it was a 3-day review. And since we weren't at school, we had to do it at home. And we had to wake up at 8 a.m. I want to say, to 3 or 4. And they would kind of just go over topics, run through everything, do some practice questions over that whole course. And I think we had like a 30-minute lunch break. It may have been an hour. I get confused between the HERS and the ATI Live Review. So, yeah, you will see ATI a lot if you're in Alcorn's nursing program. So just get used to it. They will also give you the books. So it's no point for you to buy the books unless they change that. Now, if they change and make y'all pay for it, when y'all come in later years than we did, then that may be different. But we didn't have to pay for them. It was kind of included in our tuition or whatnot, and they gave us the books. And then HERS. So HERS you may have heard of, you may have not heard of. And it's also an NCLEX study tool. And it also had the 3-day live review, going over topics and questions and stuff. I liked HERS, but I didn't like HERS. Like, now that I'm going through the questions, they're a little wordy and everything, and they kind of make me feel less confident about me knowing my information. So whoever feels like that's for them, then that's for them. But I don't feel like it's necessarily for me. And as we were going through the live review for it, I was getting a lot of the questions wrong. Well, a lot of the people in my class were, and we weren't really understanding how the answers were what they were. So it was kind of hard for me to sit there and listen to everything and grasp everything as they just ran through this long hour review or whatnot. Just be prepared for people who are coming in their last year in Alcorn nursing program. So again, as I've said multiple times about finding outside resources. So even if you're going over a subject, so say maternity health or maternity and newborn, or if you just need to study antepartum, intrapartum, or like prioritization, you can literally go on Google and put in NCLEX style prioritization questions, and usually you'll find like a Quizlet with about 20 questions on it, and maybe like Nursing Lab's website or Khan Academy. I've never used Khan Academy, but I've seen it a few times. Register RN on YouTube has quite a few practice questions for each subject, but you'll be able to find a lot of resources. Also, other than practice questions, if that's not the type of learner you are and you need pictures to help you or videos and stuff, I would recommend you typing into Google Mnemonics. And it's like pictures and ways that you can learn a disease or something that's going on. So it's like a cartoon figure, and then it'll have different things on the person that indicate the disease. I use those a lot because I felt like I was able to photographic that in my head, because I've always kind of been like a photographic memory type of person. So it's easy for me to remember that picture as I'm doing tests and kind of remember each part of the picture. There is a Level Up RN person on Instagram and other sites, and she kind of makes like flashcards for different things. So like this was the EKG interpretation, and then the health assessment, nursing lab values, and then it was like 2 stacks of the med surge flashcards, and then pharmacology. And with those, I bought them, I think my last semester, because I was having a hard time grasping that information enough to pass the test. And so I bought those because a lot of people had used those through nursing school. So I'm going to show you kind of how the card looks. So on the front, it looks like this, where it has like the system that is under, the name of the disease or whatnot, and it says that it's going to tell you about the symptoms and medications. And then when you flip it, it talks about the medications and the symptoms, and sometimes it will add like the most important things about the medications or the main symptoms of the disease. So it will not name everything like ATI does, even though ATI kind of shortens everything for you. But it's definitely different than other books where it kind of adds everything in that you don't need. But it's just different ways. If you a person by studying questions, then it's questions out there. If you a person who study by visual, use the mnemonics. If you study by flashcards, get the ones that are already made. Now those, I got all of those for, I want to say like $140 something, and that's really not that bad for like what you're offered in those flashcards. But I would say you could probably go half with somebody in nursing school, since y'all all live in the dorms and stuff together, and kind of like study those cards. But it's really a good price. Y'all, I came to nursing school and I did not know how to deal with stress. My way of dealing with stress was my freshman year, sleeping, and that's really it. I would kind of just walk through my days my freshman year, because I was like depressed and everything, and it was kind of hard for me to adjust to all the changes that was going on, and all I could do was sleep, go to class. All my classes were in the morning, go back in my room, go to sleep, wake up probably around 6, 7, go to the library until it closed, and then go back to my dorm and kind of repeat most of the days my freshman year. And even when I first started nursing school, you couldn't tell me to take a nap. Like, I don't know, I couldn't take naps. Everybody around me would be saying that they was about to go take them and whatnot, and I'm like, how are they sleeping all the time? Like, I don't understand. But as you get through the years, that might be the only thing to help you. That's the only thing that helped me. Me and my roommate, she the one who got me started on that. I'm gonna put that out there. But as soon as we got out of clinicals, or as soon as we got out of lecture or something, we going back to the room and we going to sleep. Now, I would try to set my alarm, but I don't get woken up by alarms that much, because all I do is snooze it and go right back to sleep. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with sleeping. Just make sure that you fit in sleep and study at the same time. And I think that was part of my problem this last semester, because most of the time I was sleeping and not studying, compared to me studying all the time in the previous semesters. But some people still do their normal things to deal with stress. Some people go home to deal with stress. Some people may take breaks to deal with stress. It just depends on the person. So maybe the usual things that you do to deal with stress may still be able to work. I used to, my freshman year, it's a bridge that kind of separates Louisiana and Mississippi, that has like a little walkway around it, that I used to go to. Cause just the scenery and the air, the fresh air and everything would help me. But it stopped working after a while, even though I did try to go still sometimes. But it just depends on the person. A lot of people were asking if you could still like party and do everything that you want to do in nursing school. I'm not the party type of person. I did go to a few parties my last semester. I think it was my last semester, and was able to still study and everything. But a lot of people I know went to most of the parties throughout the year, most of like the spring events and homecoming games, and games every Saturday or whenever they were. So it's possible. And a lot of them passed nursing school even with higher grades than me. So it just depends on the person. If you can juggle those different things, then good luck with that. And then we're going to end this video with my journey now and kind of how I've gone from nursing school to where I am now. So again, I graduated May 2nd, but we were kind of done with our schoolwork and everything. I want to say April, like the middle of April. We came back March. I came back home in March. And still had stuff to do till like the middle of April, end of April. So I had kind of started studying for the NCLEX, using my study tools that I'll in a later future make a video about once I take my test and everything. And I kind of started studying but realized quick that I needed a break. So I stopped studying and took like a week break off. And then I started studying again, which I am doing now. I have been applying to jobs. I had started applying a little bit before I graduated. And again, I will talk about like the applying process and the nursing positions and everything in a different video. So I won't go too deep into it. But so once you get your transcript conferred for your graduation, so after you graduate, it will show your grades on there. It won't necessarily show all of your last semester grades on there in your degree plan. So for me, the ASN, which is associate degree in nursing, was not on there originally, May 2nd. It got conferred on May 6th that night, and I sent out my transcript to my nursing, which is in Michigan, on May 7th that morning, and I still have not received my ATT letter. And I had already did my background check a while ago, like probably 2 weeks before I graduated, just to kind of have that out the way, because sometimes it takes up to a month for it to get in the system, and you don't want to wait too late because you can't get your NCLEX, or you can't be licensed fully until you have your background check in the system. Yes, you can take the NCLEX and pass and everything before you take your background check, but you can't get your actual license and start working as a full nurse, not a new grad nurse, until after they have their background check. Yes, I am still waiting on my ATT letter, and everything that's going on with the coronavirus and the COVID-19 is kind of delaying everything. And as I'm hearing, like the earliest date here for the NCLEX is August. And as you know, it's May, and that's not going to work. So I will be probably traveling to take my test because my plan was not to take it that late. I don't really know when I want to take it right now. Plus, I probably won't tell people until I have taken it and passed it. So I won't get too deep into that, but I am waiting on my ATT letter, which is the authorization to test. And that's basically when Pearson VUE and your board of nursing talk to each other and say, okay, she's paid her $200 for Pearson VUE. Okay, I got her background check and her transcript saying that she graduated from a nursing program. So now we gonna send her a letter saying she could pick a date to take her test. So that's what I'm still waiting on. So I'm studying right now, but I don't know when I'm going to actually take the test. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. I mean, if you have any more questions that I can answer, I'll put my Instagram in the description box. You can message under this video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would like to, please subscribe and wait for my next video, which will probably be about my study tips for the NCLEX and hopefully how I passed. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and that concludes Nursing Tea with Rika. Bye y'all.